What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about syrup today, Maple Finance. It is the 28th day of June. Here we are at about 14.2 cents with 9 hours and 20 minutes left in this day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it. I did make a video yesterday talking about syrup for a little bit, but I'd like to do a more in-depth video today because I think this one's worth talking about, and there's a lot of interesting prospects for this DeFi project overall. It's a very interesting DeFi project, I think, and I think it's one of the more interesting projects to watch in this kind of niche aspect of crypto. Anyways, let's get into the TA. Let's look at this on the short term, and then we will zoom out and look at it on the long term as well. Okay, 1 hour time frame here. You did pump a good bit yesterday. Actually, you've pumped a good bit from your lows. You've seen a nice little 40% rally. You're pulling back a little bit now. Let's see, what are you doing? Low to high. 382 area, 236. It's kind of sloppy. Whatever, that's okay. Looks like you want to go a little bit lower. RSI would suggest you want to go lower, and the stochastics and the MACD suggest that as well. So you probably do see, prices at least here at 14.2 cents, at least something below 14 cents, but I think we'll go down to 13 cents, 12.6 cents, somewhere in that area as well, if I had to guess, for a nice little pullback there. And then likely recover, likely move up. I think DeFi projects around the space are going to start to see some life over the coming month, maybe even over the coming months, who knows. RSI on the 4 hour time frame starting to look a little bit more bullish. You are rejecting, or I should say you're finding resistance up here, and you are coming down, but you did get nice and deep into the overbought zone there, getting higher highs and finding a bit of a double bottom, relatively speaking, as well. Looking at the stochastics, a little bit sloppy, but it looks like you want to point down a little bit as well. The MACD, these oscillators here, the blue and the orange line, you could see the oscillators come back to this zero level. That could take, next week. It could take a few days, but likely you're going to find support somewhere in this zero level and then continue to move higher. That'd be my guess. So in the meantime, while these oscillators pull back to the zero, you do likely see the price pull back down to around 13 to 12.5 cents and then recover from there. We look at the daily time frame, and hold on, guys. The daily time frame RSI is taking on a bit of a bullish shape as well, bouncing off the oversold zone, showing some bullish divergence. You have seen a good move come from that already. And the stochastics are pointed upwards as well. This could be the end of it. Maybe this is a fake out move. I don't think so. It is a bit early to call for this low, but I feel pretty confident that we do see some recovery over time here. That doesn't mean we can't go lower. We absolutely can go lower. Again, that 13 to 12.5 cent area, maybe even below there. We could go a little bit lower. I doubt we go below this low. But likely from here, however it looks, whether it's like this, whether it's like this, whether it's something else, we're probably going to see some recovery that takes us back around this zone here, if I had to guess. Looking at this on the daily time frame with these indicators, the MACD is starting to build some bullish momentum, which looks good. The RSI bouncing off the oversold zone is always encourageable. Typically, you go to the overbought zone with that. And the stochastics pointing upwards like this also look pretty good as well. That's my 10-month-old little baby girl, if you guys are hearing those noises. She's just happy. Weekly time frame bouncing off the oversold zone. Stochastics looking like they want to come up. The MACD is also killing its bearish momentum here, looking like it wants to move up as well. Hi, baby. Hello. How are you? I don't think anybody can see her. Yeah, no, she's out of view here. It's okay. Mama's taking her away. We're almost done. We're almost done. I mean, you've definitely been bearish for a time. You've definitely been bearish since June of 2025, for a full year now. Might be a good time to kind of recover. We look at this trend, and you've got lower lows here. You've actually even broken below that trend line there. I love when you get right below a trend line. I think it's the best time to buy. Best time to buy right there. Absolutely going to be the best time to buy. And then, from a trend line perspective here as well, we could see prices go all the way back up to 24 cents, 23 cents. We're at 14 cents now. That's a decent move. What if you break above that trend line? You could find support here just below this trend line. You could find resistance here just above it. I mean, you could double in price from here. That's why we're talking about syrup, is I think that there's some interesting stuff going on price-wise, and it might be worth making a play on. from a high to a low, 22 cents would be a minimum target. 34 to 38 cents at the golden ratio is also a suitable target area as well, and anywhere and everywhere in between as well. So that's a 60% pump to a 170% pump potential. We likely see that, if I had to guess, we probably see that within the next 6 weeks, if I had to guess, and I am guessing. Time will tell. We'll see how it goes. But there's nothing else really to talk about there. I've gone over everything that I can. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I do actually want to say real quick, I do believe that syrup will see new all-time highs going into the next cycle. I do believe that this thing, again, one of the reasons why I'm talking about it now is because I think this thing has tremendous long-term potential. Tremendous long-term potential. And whenever I say we're going to see new all-time highs, I don't just mean to $1. I don't just mean to $2. I mean, this thing could be worth tens of dollars. Who knows? Maybe even a lot more than that. Let's look at syrup. Let's just see here. Syrup. Market cap valuation at 100 and let's just say 170 million to make it nice and even. $170 million. A 10x would put you at 1.7 billion. A 100x would put you at $17 billion. $17 billion is not a small amount of money, but it's very attainable. It's something that I think a lot of cryptos that have the right narrative, that see their time in the spotlight in any given bull market, $17 billion is definitely attainable. That's a 100x. $34 billion is attainable. $60 billion is attainable. We're talking about a coin that could do a multi-100x. 100x from here is $14. Multi-100x, you're at $28 and beyond. I mean, from here, I very much do expect that we'll see new all-time highs. The primary target zone, I shouldn't say from here, but at some point I expect that we will. The primary target zone will be $1.09 to $2.02 there. And then once you break through that, you have your secondary zone, which is your 1886 to your 2618. And then after that, there's the money zone, which is $19 to $29. This could be where your bull market top is, if not somewhere in this zone as well, between $3.25 and $12. Being here at 14 cents, there's a massive amounts of potential. This project, I think, is going to take the next bull market by storm, and this is definitely one to watch and keep on the radar. If you like Onyx Coin, if you like KETA, KTA, if you like DeFi projects in general, whatever the case may be, maybe it's Injective, maybe it's, is it Dexy, maybe it's, what else? What else? There's that new token that's pumping. I don't remember what it's called. Whatever. There's a bunch of AI projects, or not AI projects, DeFi projects that are low market cap coins. This is definitely one to put on the radar. I think that they have an interesting model, and I think that read the white paper, do your own research, see if it interests you. But I think that this definitely has promise to see some immense growth going into the next cycle. I really would not be surprised. I mean, everybody was talking about SWI last cycle, right? A lot of people were talking about SWI. This thing's going to be talked about in the same light that SWI was talked about, right? How everybody just loved SWI and was talking about it. But the thing is with SWI, it got so much hype, and all it did from a low to a high, it's not unimpressive. It's just not what's crazy in crypto. It was a 14x. It did a 14x. It was there for a week, and then it came down, and it's been bearish ever since. SWI was one of the most talked about coins, and still is, and it's just completely overhyped. Syrup is going to be in that same light of talked about, that same level of popularity, but you're going to have much more than a 14x coming your way. This thing is, the reason why SWI dumped, the reason why it sold off, the reason why it's hyped up is because a lot of people in the crypto market, a lot of big figures, a lot of people with tons of money backed this project. There's a lot of vested interest as far as capital goes in this project. The reason why it didn't pump dramatically, even with that vested interest, is because when SWI came out, it was a multi-billion-dollar asset already. You don't buy something at a multi-billion dollars and expect it to go to $100 trillion. You don't expect it to go to $1 trillion. That's not what happens in the crypto space. Not in one cycle. No. Bitcoin's the only crypto that's ever seen $1 trillion market cap, and that took several cycles. No, you buy coins that are worth $100 million, $200 million, less than that in market cap, and you ride that to be worth billions of dollars. This one already came out at its $1 billion mark. Of course it's only going down. It's a money grab. They're going to sell. Of course it is. Syrup, though, is at a very, very fair and low valuation, and I think as time goes on, that will only be proven to be true. And I really do believe this thing has not just 100x potential, but multi 100x potential. I need to write this one down, man. Syrup, KTA, Edge, Onyx Coin, of course. Those are some great DeFi projects to look into. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.